Hi everyone, hi dear participants. We're very happy to see you today. It's our online lecture about communication with admission officers, do's and don'ts. Today we have our wonderful speaker, Dr. Cheng-Levine. So we're very happy to have you and very thankful for you to be able to make it. Dr. Cheng-Levine is a Dean of International Affairs and Global Engagement at College of Canyons and Clarita, California. Prior to the role, she was director of international student program at COC and has been a COC for over 20 years. She came to COC from the University of Houston downtown as a professor of English and has been a faculty member in field for nearly 25 years. A native of Taiwan, and an international student herself, Dr. Cheng Levine earned her Doctor of Philosophy in English Language and Literature with a special emphasis on critical theory from the Indian University of Pennsylvania after having earned her MA in English from the University of Georgia. So, Dr. Cheng Levine, we are very happy to have you today. And please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. It's my absolute pleasure to be here, and I'm very honored to be able to present these important topics to our students. Thank you. So I would like to begin by thanking you for being here, first of all, because I know it's late in Europe, and here we are in the morning. I'm in Southern California, and I want to share with you, in addition to the topic about effective communication with admission office, more importantly, to let you know that if you desire to study in the United States, you can do it and you will do it. And then there's a very important message at the end I want to share with you on campus who you really should be reaching out and working with if you have the desire to study in the United States. So very briefly, thank you very much for Education USA Ukraine for hosting this important webinar. Many students may not have the opportunity to be able to learn some of the basic skills because cultural differences, not because you don't know, because you just have not had the opportunity to be exposed to how to effectively communicate with admission officers. Next slide, please. First of all, who I am, right? So who is this person talking to me? Why am I spending my evening an hour talking to this person? My name is Jia-Yi Cheng-Levine, and everyone in the international education world call me Dr. J. And my goal is to build world peace through educational channels, one connection at a time. I truly believe world peace is possible, especially with this generation of the students. You want peace, you want prosperity. And that's who I am. And of my whole life, that's what I work towards. What motivates me is connecting people, resources, and projects. What I want to do is make the impossible possible for other people because that's what many people before me have done for me. So that's who I am. And then I want you to think about this slide because ultimately, when you apply to study in the United States, you want to know who you are, who you want to be, and what you hope to accomplish with the degree in the United States. Next, please. Very brief introduction of my college and why I work at this wonderful institution. We are located in Santa Clarita, California. It's an absolutely gorgeous environment for students to study in. We are considered the top 10 safest city of the size, which is about 300, 400,000 people in the residence. We have guaranteed transfer agreements to UCLA, UC Berkeley, UC Santa Barbara, UC San Diego, and other institutions. We have a lot of students transferred to Columbia University, NYU, Stanford, and University of Southern California. We do have one of the highest student transfer rates, and this may not be a familiar concept to you, which is you study 2 years at a community college, and it's guaranteed transfer for you to go to the California state system. You'll be able to reach out to Education USA advisors. They are experts in this field. The reason you want to study, if you are an undergraduate student seeking admission to undergraduate study, you do want to consider study at a community college because it's very low cost, very low entry barrier, and it's guaranteed transfer. So what we call the 2+2. do. Almost everyone in the United States, especially California, that's what we do. My own daughter went through the process, graduated from UC Berkeley with a bachelor's degree in political science at age 19. So I strongly encourage you to talk to education advisors to consider the 2+2 pathway. And one important thing is, I know you have many choices when it comes to international education institutions that you want to go to. As important as the institution itself, more importantly is the international office. You want, and then that's sometimes also is the admission office as well. You want to have a sense how international office engage with international students, because how your life and your study will be has so much to do with how international office can or cannot or want or cannot take care of you. That's our email right there. If you're interested in it, write it down. Thank you. Next slide. Forms of communication. Today we're talking about effective communication, do and don'ts, when you are communicating with admission officers or an admission office. And in today's world, it's really difficult to know, are you talking to a person with multiple people answering the email? But regardless of what each international office or the department that you talk with, the different forms of communication, we use it, most of the university use it. You either communicate through email, social media, or you call or Zoom. Of course, there are other mechanisms. We're talking about most commonly all those mechanisms. For example, WhatsApp is nowadays is considered one of the social media platforms. So you want to consider when you communicate, it's not just about writing that email. It's not just about give them a call. And I will talk about a little bit like how you communicate who you are even before the formal communication take place. So today I will talk about these 4 ways of communication and give you the do's and don'ts. Next slide. Before we begin, nobody today can talk about anything without talking about AI. So some students have asked me, can I use AI? Because my English is not my first language and I want to have a perfect polished English. I can tell you, you're taking a risk by using AI. AI is a wonderful tool. My slide that looks pretty, what is it? Basically, AI in PowerPoint helped me arrange the slide so it looks prettier, right? So of course we all use AI. AI was built in way before we even have a name for it. So that's one way of the older fashioned AI. But today's AI, the generative AI, is what we're talking about. The generative AI, many universities actually are quite against it because we, in all honesty, are very tired of reading similar essays over and over and over again. Because it's all very well perfectly phrased and everybody's story all sounds alike. But you are individual that live your own life in the way that the best you can. So using AI sometimes becomes a deterrent for the admission officers to know who you really are. So I will let you decide if you're going to use AI or not, but I want to put out a word of caution. Number 1, institution professors have their own policy about using AI. Even after you get admitted to the universities, every professor is different. In their syllabus, they're very clear. Can or can you not use AI and to what degree you can. Many universities now, the students that get caught on using AI, you get sent home because they drop you. They don't want students who don't want to do their own work. So you want to read each institution's policy carefully. Look at their admission policy. Talk to the international office. The majority of U.S. institutions, I don't want you to talk about, I don't think you like this, but they are against using AI in their application because they really want to get to know who you are. And people like me who read so many admission essays, or in the past I read so many student essays, we keep detect in our own reading, we think this is AI. And you don't want it because they thought it was AI, and then immediately dismiss what you wrote, right? So I will answer a question a little bit. If you're going to use AI, how you can do that? Look at those institutions. I know students in Europe, you have high aspirations. You want to go to the best university in the world. Good for you. But before you apply, please this is just a quick Google search. It will tell you Brown University, George Washington, Georgetown, Duke, Yale, they are all against AI. Very explicit policy in the application essay. Virginia Tech, they might even use AI to see the percentage of possible AI usage. We do it, and I can tell you the majority of the university nowadays actually are using as well. So take that into consideration. Next, please. Next slide. So in all forms of communication, especially in written communication, we want to first talk about tone and style. When people write, because nowadays it was so casual in our communication because we text all the time. When you are into the text culture, you sometimes forget proper greetings are quite important. For example, please don't ever use hey or yay or okay because they are not your best friends. They are not your family. They are admission officers or professors who will decide if they're going to give you scholarship or not. So when students say, hey, Dr. J, we say, well, you don't want to hate people, right? So similarly in our nature, you want to write in such, dear admissions officer, or if you know the person's name, dear Mr. So-and-so. And then with women in the United States, please don't assume they're Mrs. MRS, right? Please do not assume they're Mrs. because some people don't like that. If you say Miss, MS, probably is safer. So either dear Mr. So-and-so, dear Miss So-and-so, please, and if you don't know, it's okay to spell their whole name out. Like my name, people meet me, they really don't know is a male, is a female, right? So, and I don't mind it when people say, hey, dear Jia-Yi Cheng-Levine, because that is my name. But please do have a proper greeting and the professional tone. Your message needs to be very clear. Right there, I'm writing to apply, which you most likely already have applied. You just may have a question to follow up. They may want you to send additional document. I'm writing to respond to your request. Right there, straight out. Please don't give them a long run story and narrative. People are very busy. When they start, you don't want your message to be drowned out. It says, why is this person writing me? Oh, in the third paragraph. When you, after you say, dear so-and-so, I am writing to do what? I'm writing to apply for additional scholarship that I saw on your website that students from Ukraine may qualify for. My application was submitted, blah, blah, blah. My experience and intended major addressed to XYZ. Therefore, please kindly consider my application, additional application for scholarship of ABC, right? Whatever that is. Do have clear paragraph breaks. So when we get a text, because some students write their things on their phone. I love my phone. But when you write on your phone, it looks quite differently sometimes when you send it. So there's no paragraph break. And I know Google Sheets and a Google Doc, they are wonderful tools for you to use, but sometimes students may not see by the time you write it and then it show up on the email or on the Word document, you send it, the paragraph breaks are gone. So what you wrote, you pull your whole heart out, you work so hard on your essay, it's all this big chunk of paragraph. Your message, what you're asking for, sometimes gets lost. So with a clear break, and each paragraph has a topic sentence. In addition to applying for Virginia Tech, I also want to apply for scholarship, specific design for students with low income. And the next paragraph, my parents, blah, 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 blah. Our family, but like short. Next paragraph. I have worked since I was 16, 2 jobs, whatever the story that you want to tell. So each of the paragraph need to have a topic sentence that's clearly telling people what you are going to tell them. Because that topic sentence sometimes is the only thing the mission officer have time to read or the scholarship officer have time to read. Please conclude your writing with a very respectful conclusion. Thank you very much for your kind consideration. I thank you for your time for reading this email. Something like that, right? So people are busy. They like to know what they do. They like to know the 2 minutes, 10 minutes that they spend with your email. It's worth it, right? They actually kind of feel, wow, okay, I want to kind of go back and see what the student needs and help the student as precisely as possible. If you're writing an application essay, they tell you 500 words, they really mean it's 500 words. Because that's all the time that they would be able to allow to for each student who communicate or who apply. So avoid long narratives that can get your story so lost that people forget what you're writing about. Style, tone, these are the first thing, the first impression. Remember, they're not your best friends. They're the people who actually will decide about your future. You want to be professional, you want to be courteous, and more importantly, you want to let people know you're very grateful they spend that 5 minutes with you and with your email. Next, please. When you engage with an admission office and using the social media platform, including LinkedIn, if you don't have a LinkedIn account yet, I strongly encourage you to create one and study how other professionals present themselves. Do not assume because you are on the social media platform, because some universities have their social media channel, don't assume because the social media platform you can be casual. Again, they're not your best friends, right? They might have a college assistant, a student worker, helping responding to your messages. But ultimately, those are all recorded. When my student worker respond to messages on our Instagram, those are all recorded. I, as a dean, I review it occasionally because I want to make sure our students or applicants who apply, their questions are answered. So please, again, don't say, hey, what is a mission deadline? Okay, we will tell you what our mission deadline is, but again, I'm not your buddy, right? So I'm interested in your major, your school, or your this. I'm from Ukraine. I would like to apply for this. May I have the application deadline? 3 sentences short, but don't just say, hey, what is your application deadline? People will answer, but the impression of this student may not be the best. Next, you do know by now, it's not a surprise to you that you are communicating about who you are even before any formal communication occurs. U.S. Embassy officers now are required to check your social media posting. Some universities now will check your social media posting. My recommendation is your life does not have to be out there for the world to see. I'm a very opinion person, but because of what I do as a school official, I keep opinions to myself. I understand many people have different opinions about this, but this is your future we're talking about. When you become the prime minister of your country, when you become the minister of the education department in your country, you can have a lot of opinions. Right now, your goal is get accepted by the U.S. education institution, get your degree so you can make very positive changes for you, your family, and your community. So what is your goal? Get accepted and ideally get the scholarship. So I would seriously consider go back and review your posting because students have got rejected of a visa by the U.S. Embassy visa officers because of their social media posting. Remember, again, I cannot emphasize this enough. You are communicating who you are even before any formal communication occurs. If possible, request communication via formal email or Zoom call. If it's on the social media, ask, do you have open office hours on Zoom? I can hop on that. I'll be able to ask questions. Can I send you the email with my additional documents? So that way, my question and you can get to know who I am. So all these you can ask on social media platform politely and then move it to a more formal communication channel. Next, please. If you email an admissions office, I cannot emphasize this enough because I hear from my staff. I have 2 key staff answering email plus another 5 or 6, what we call the college assistant part-timers, just to monitor during in the evening, make sure there's no urgent matters that we need to address. Number 1, your email address is quite important. If you tell me, for example, if your email address, I like dogs 321, that's nice. But how is your liking dog has to do with your ability or your potential to perform in the United States as an undergraduate or graduate student. Use a professional email address name. For me, my last name is Cheng-Levine. If I were to communicate with us, let's say I don't have the school email, I would do chenglevine@gmail.com or Jia-Yi Cheng-Levine or Jia-Yi.Cheng-Levine@yahoo.com. So something that represent you and then people can actually identify. They receive so many emails, they want to be able to search. So I like dog 321 might be very impressive and people might remember you, but that doesn't tell them who you are. I have students have very inappropriate email address and I refuse to communicate with them. I really do. Because this is an academic higher education environment, we expect students to be professional in their communication from day one. Number 2, use appropriate name, ideally your own name, your full name. Because if you, especially Chinese students, they tend to have this QQ and we don't know who they are, and then it's all numbers. And I understand the privacy factors of it. I would open a email account, they say Gmail or Yahoo, whatever you choose to use, just for the school communication, so it doesn't get lost. And when you do that, please check them every day, because there are sometimes sensitive deadlines. If you don't respond by certain deadline, they will retreat. They will actually say, sorry, you didn't say yes, you're coming. Then they actually will say you can no longer come to a university. I have 2 students this summer, they're going to fall, got their admission to UC, University of California, retracted because they didn't check their email. Use the school email. If you have the school email, please do that, because as an EDU, that people like that's official, they represent who you are. But make sure that you have access to it after you graduate. If you're in high school or you're in graduate, if you're undergraduate school give you email. Do use that. But please make sure you can have the access all the way after you graduate. You graduate in June. You're waiting for an admission officer and also the scholarship committee to communicate with you in July. If you have lost access to that email, you won't be able to respond to them. They will assume you're not coming. Next slide. If you end up calling an admission officer, okay, we all have accent. I have accent. And then sometimes people's English is not first language. We speak very quickly and nobody knows what we're talking about. And we're like, what is this again? So take your time. Speak clearly and slowly. Say who you are. Hi. Good morning, if it's their morning. Good afternoon. My name is Jia-Yi Cheng-Levine. I know people are not going to catch that, right? It's very, it's okay. People don't catch it the first time. But when people say, hi, this is AJ from the international office, how may I help you? When people say that, they say, good morning, my name is Jia-Yi Cheng-Levine, because I know my name is hard for people to understand or remember. So I say my first name and I say my full name again. My name is Jia-Yi Cheng-Levine. I'm calling from Taiwan. I would like to speak with you, the admission officer whose name is Dr. Hanadel. And he had requested that I call him to discuss my financial statement. Right there. So then the person who answered the phone, oh, I'm Dr. Hanadel. So with that right there, you get their attention. They know why you're calling. They know where you're calling from. It is important they know where they're calling from, because people who are trained as admission officers, they should be very sensitive to people. If I'm calling from China, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, first is time differences. Second is there may be some delay. Third is there might be some accent involved. They will be a lot more patient and then listen to a lot more tentatively. Be direct but polite about what you're asking. So by the time, let's say you apply to a school, they haven't received anything, a month had gone by, you were told the decision comes out in a month. Will you be so kind as to update me on my application status? I was notified a month ago, decision will come out in 2 weeks. I have not yet received any formal communication from the university. Over the next one. Could you please inform me if there are additional documents you need from me? So you ask them a direct question. And then they might tell you things, and then you have a couple minutes more to conversation and the call with a possible next step. Whatever the answer is or what they tell you, people will want to walk away with something they feel good that they have talked to you. Getting upset over the phone is just going to bring you into a more negative light. Be positive and say, okay, I understand at this point I'm on the wait list. What do you recommend as my next steps? Give them something to guide you. Let them engage with you. Let them feel like I want to talk to this person more. Oh, it's okay. Thank you for letting me know the scholarship decision has not been made. Could you tell me when I should follow up with the next step, or when I can expect the decision will come out? And then this, if English is not your first language, it takes practice. Practice with your friends. Go to Education USA office. Practice with your advisors. That's what they are for. My students who got denied visa 3 times because they are so scared, they don't know how to talk to visa officer. You know what we do as admission officers? We send them to the Education USA office to work with advisors because they have a lot of workshop. They know the culture of where you're coming from, and they know the culture of the embassy there. So they are truly your best resource, and then the best people who their goal is get you to the United States. So when you after call and then you just kind of, so I don't know, this is just so disappointing. The first thing, if I were you, if you're my kid, I will tell you, go to the Education USA office and seek help there. Next slide, please. If you are Zooming with an admissions office, number one, nothing is more annoying than we cannot hear because so much stuff in the background, and people actually don't have proper clothing, because sometimes it's really difficult, it's very distracting. If people don't have proper clothing or people in the background, we can barely hear. Just remember that, okay? When you are on the social media platform, you're interested in the school, you want to find out more information. We have open office hours through Zoom. So I would say, may I have your Zoom or open up? Do you have open office hours? Is it on Zoom? May I have them? If they don't, they don't. And they just say, may I make a Zoom appointment with a mission officer? So when you obtain the opportunity to be on the Zoom with it, that is really your chance to shine. Because email can be written by AI, right? Communication can be written by, but when they get to know who you are on the screen like this, you want to have that best opportunity for yourself to present who you are. So definitely call from a quiet place. If today I were doing this when I'm driving, you probably already lost interest talking to me, because like I don't have better things to do, right? So in many ways, you want them to know this is the most important thing that you're doing now. So call from a quiet place. Make sure your camera is on. Very, very, very. I would say admission officers, very many of them really don't like it when talk to people with camera on because we don't know who we're talking with. We don't know what we're saying. It's also being heard by many things, by many people out who are not the student applicant. Ask topic appropriate questions and then ask very specific ones. Don't ask admission officers, so what do you want from an applicant? And my response is on our website. We already have all the requirements. So you have very precious 5 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes the most time with these officers. Do your homework ahead of the time. Know your admission policy, know their deadline, know what they are asking or require for. Don't ask the questions that you can find out yourself. Do your homework. So ask topic appropriate questions. They're not there to chat with you. They are there to help you so you can submit the best application possible, either for admission and or scholarship. So in that sense, stay on the topic. Always say thank you. In the United States, people like people when they say thank you, right? Different culture, differently. But in the United States, when you don't end with a call with thank you, people's like, was the conversation over? And then express how helpful they have been. I understand you may not be able to make a decision right now, but I really appreciate you spend the past 10 minutes to guide me through the next step. This is an important decision I'm making for myself, and then your help today, your 10 minutes help or 5 minutes help today, have helped me feel a lot better in applying to your university. So when you say things that I did my job today. So ask appropriate questions and say thank you and express how helpful, how grateful you are. Let's spend the time with you. Next, please. What is your goal? Your goal is you want whoever that you talk with to remember you in a positive way. If you apply to Georgetown, George Washington Universities or USC, by the time you can get on the call or email or anything coming with a real human being in that sense, it's a very precious opportunity that it may not come back again. So your goal is you want them, whatever the interaction they're with you, either on social media or email or whatnot, or especially on Zoom or when you call, you want to remember, oh, that was really good. That was helpful. Or that's a student who really wanted to come. I have, find myself in a position like, I don't know, the student is just kind of sound like an AI return. I really don't know who the student is, right? So in that sense, I'm screening 15 applications to compete for 2 scholarships to study in Belgium for free for 2 weeks. And then as I looked at it, I was like, oh, this sounds so much like AI. So then one student showed up in my office yesterday, really eager to present herself. And I was like, why not? So I actually let her make an appointment to talk to me. In her written communication, she was not one of my highest ranking person. She wasn't. She's a middle. Out of 15, I got 2 I really like. 2 maybe as backup. She wasn't even the top 5. But she took the initiative, showed up in my office, politely asked for an appointment with me. For me, the student took initiative. Even though I wasn't impressed by her essay. Because some people writing is not their strength, right? So right there, I was like, this student taking initiative. I'm willing to spend a good 15 minutes with the student. Give them the sense that they feel they have the opportunity to get to know you. Hi, my name is Jia-Yi Cheng-Levine. I'm calling from Taiwan. I'm calling to speak with the admission officer. If you don't have the name, that's okay. I'm applying as an English major. Could you please connect me to the department that or whoever, right, with the officer that's screening the application for English majors. However, it is like you're very clear right at the very beginning. And then it's, oh, okay, I know who this is, who I'm talking to, how I can help them. So to the point that they're willing to expedite your request. With good and excellent universities, their list of to-do list is this long. How do you go from here for them to move you up, make that call and say, hey, Dr. Cheng-Levine, I have a student here requesting XYZ. Is it okay if I make a 15 minutes appointment to meet you? Sure. Right? So we wanted to feel, I like this kid. I want to help him or her, right? Have a strong desire to help you move to the next step, and it will go far and beyond to help you. Now, everybody has their mood and emotions. If you call on that day, someone wasn't helpful, call back tomorrow on a different time. Because we have different shift of the people. Not everybody have the same desire or motivation to help people. It's everywhere in the world. So if you don't get the help that you need today, call back tomorrow, preferably on a different time. Maybe you catch a different person. Maybe. I'm not saying you will. Maybe. And I say, hi, but it's the same thing. I did call yesterday and the person was able to help me to some degree. I would like to seek additional information. Acknowledge that, but never say negative things. The moment you say, well, the woman I talked to yesterday was awful, right there, you're talking to a colleague this person worked with, right? I have seen students in the email. This is what they write. Hey, number one. The second one is, I sent an email 2 weeks ago. You guys didn't respond. And then in my mind, I was thinking, okay, well, what's the reason people didn't respond? Was the request clear, right? I'll go through all this. Right there, I'm already spending another 5 minutes to investigate what was going on 2 weeks ago with that person before I even respond to this person. So a better strategy would be, dear so-and-so, dear admission officer, I would like to bring your attention to the email I sent on this day. Here are my questions. I would appreciate a response. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter. Right there, okay, the day is very clear. I will go into, okay, but the student repeat or have forward that email and then repeat right there. So I don't have to go down and down and down and see the email chain. So what happened there? Okay. So if you help them understand what your requests are or who you are, they can help you a lot faster. And at the end, they will feel pretty good about it, done something good today and meaningful to help you. Next, please. So right there, I didn't want to spend the whole 40 an hour. I want to make sure that you have the time to be able to ask questions. As you are thinking about a question to ask, I want you to know that I'm pretty straightforward. So I may not give you the answers that you like, but I'll be honest with you about what my take is. For basically 30 years in the United States, and then 10 or 12 years of that as a mission officer, or actually high-level decision making, to see if I were to get student scholarship or not. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm here. Education USA is here to help you. Thank you.
Dr. Jia-Yi Cheng-Levine, thank you so much for joining us today. And if you don't mind, we have some questions from our student, which are frequently asked. And I would gladly use this opportunity. If you don't mind, I would like to ask you them.
Please.
So the first question would be, thank you so much. How much do admission officers remember individual students after email exchange? Does it meaningfully influence the review process?
Yes and no. So depends on their work volume. Some international programs are so big, they have different people answering different students' email and inquiry by their last name alphabet, but based on alphabet. And it may depends on your luck. Some people pay a lot more attention, some may not. However, if your communication is professional, straight to the point, then what we call call to action, meaning ask a more specific question, they're more than likely to be able to help you. If you're nice and polite, people have a good impression. But if you are not nice, I can tell you they will remember it. And if they remember it, they may not decide they don't want you to come, because they also know, some of them also know, by the time you come, they'll be the one who will need to help you. In their mind, you don't want them to say, I have to deal with this student. That's a bad impression to have. Let me deal with this problem. Let me deal with this student's response. So I would avoid creating feeling like that. So yes, if you have a good impression, they more than likely they want to move with cases through, right? Number one. Number two, for us, our student, we're admission, open admission. If you meet the minimum requirement, we will accept you. However, how fast the mission officer issue you I-20, so you can go to the visa interview and get your visa, and how eager they're willing to help you if for whatever reason you get denied of a visa. When you call, how eager they are to help you. So admission officer not just about accept you and issue an I-20. If you run into problems, or if you have one piece of document that you're missing, do they get to you right away, or they decide to wait? That matters in your application process. So most of the mission officers, they are technicians, meaning they screen the most basics. And if it's large universities, especially graduate school, they move it to the department, whoever the department decisions are. So you have different kinds of different levels of communication. Whatever it is, the United States, most of the universities do expect students to behave, communicate professionally in their tone and style.
Thank you so much for your meaningful response. Our student really appreciate it. And another question, we have a question from YouTube, as I see in chat, from Zarina. How do you find contacts, and how do you approach an admission officer if you aren't applying for college yet, if you're still in high school?
Very good question. We are required to publish our contact information. People have to, for public institution. Now, there are three different kinds of institution. One is public, which is the majority of it, which I encourage you to apply. The second one is private universities. Private universities don't adhere to same kind of requirement as public institutions. And the third one is private, but it's, let's say, religious or more specific theme-based institutions. Let me address the public institution. Public institutions were obligated to provide the content information for students. If sometimes it's hidden, it's hard to do. So you want to study their website, and then you can, because you're going to be international student, international office is your first step. International office will be the one to be able to provide you additional contact if necessary. They should be, and they need to be your best friend, either before you come to the United States, and especially after you arrive to the United States. Now, if you cannot find it, most of the colleges have a general admissions office. You write them, and they'll forward an email. We get forwarded email all the time from the admissions office, because on our website I would like to say 90% of the universities today have the chat bot that you're able to say, please provide me with email or contact information with international admission or with economic department. So something like that. And then they may have a generic email, and then they'll forward. So that's how you find it. The second one is a private university. Private university, depending on how big they are, they still are to some degree required to list the content information. You just have to find it. If they have A to Z, if you know the department, but if you don't, again, always go to the international office website. They have to have an email there. And then with the religious space, religious themed or other theme-based schools, they are a little more peculiar in that sense. And I would strongly recommend that, again, Education USA advisors, They are really good resource for you to tap into. Go to them and ask them, I'm having the hardest time to find information. Can you guide me through? So if you're still in high school, especially, I would say right now, because you may have done a lot of things very meaningful. It's also a very good thing to start your LinkedIn. And on your LinkedIn webpage, you'll be able to look for the international office pages on LinkedIn. You can also message them from there.
Thank you so much again for your response. I hope Zarina question got answered. And if you don't mind, just one more question from Zarina. Uh, what is something in students that stand out to admission officers? I know you already mentioned it a little, but could you emphasize it a little bit more?
I love this question because I'm also helping my students who finished 2 years with us and transferred to UCLA and UC Berkeley, top university in the world, really hard to get in. Our students last year, 60 students applied to UC Berkeley, 35 then got accepted. And then the same thing that they stood out to the admission officers is the same thing when you apply. Number one, your writing has to be good. It doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes when it's so perfect in today's world, the admission officer started to suspect maybe AI. It doesn't mean you cannot use AI, and that's what I was going to address at the end. Use AI to check your grammar. No, nothing wrong with it. Use AI to make sure that the way that you write is not offensive or is a way that people can understand. So, but it all starts with your own writing because your own writing is who you are. So, number one, when you write something about yourselves, I know you all have a story to tell, but sometimes people underplay the importance of who they are. You are an individual. If the mission officer, after they read it, they will remember your story, you have succeeded. So this is what I would do. My daughter, when she was applying for UC Berkeley, and I'm an English professor, right? I read a lot of essays. The first sentence she wrote was, I'm a cat. I was like, you're a cat? When did you become a cat? But I was intrigued. And I continue reading. And then she made an analogy of the personality characteristic of a cat, about who she is, what she's like, and what she can do. And I was impressed. I didn't help her with the essay at all. And this is even before AI time. But up to this day, I still remember essay, not because she's my daughter, but has to do with what she wrote. I was like, this is really impressive. So you want to have an opening that is not the traditional, very boring stuff. If you have an important or unique story to tell, you tell. One example, at age 8, I was diagnosed with whatever disease it was. I gone through 3 knee surgery. I went through 3 knee surgeries before I turned 15. My 1 year at this hospital had made my life possible because of one nurse. And then continue a little bit. At that point in my life, I've decided to major in nursing. So I remember that. And we all want sob story. They're like, oh, poor you, poor you. It's not like what we want. What we want to know is, what did you get out of this bad experience? Or what did you get out of this good experience? So if you think about your story, it's not just about, everybody has a story. It's about how you write it, that they'll remember it. So after you write it, please make sure you have 2 or 3 people read it. And they say, hey, when you read this, do you want to continue reading? If people read it, it's like, not really. Then you probably want to change how you write or how you reorder the ideas. Now, what makes you stand out? What makes you stand out is not about the hardship you have. It's what you get out of it and learn from it and decided to study XYZ to make changes in the world. Sob story, sad story by itself doesn't do too much because we have read too many. We have read too many sub stories. What we want is, wow, after I've gone through this, the students still have the resilience to be able to pass all that, and then will not be deterred by difficulty and pursue a degree, an education in the United States. Number two, the United States is a country who like people who like to think bigger than themselves. It's a very individualistic society. But when I read an essay, the student helped me. Since she was 15, she started volunteering at Red Cross. I said, wow, that is really good. I'm going to keep reading about what she did when she volunteered at Red Cross and how that had helped her and helped her community. And I have a student in high school wrote about an in AP class economics, and then the project that he had to do. What he had to do was he had to take, and this is during COVID. He realized a lot of older people are not getting services that they need. So he actually took the bus and then took a 3 or 4 bus route, and then using that as an AP economic class, economic AP project. So then he talked about after he took the bus how many times and observe how many older people actually can or cannot get on the bus to go to their doctors. He wrote a proposal. And he wrote that proposal and said, get it to the AP teacher. AP teacher gave it to the principal. Principal took it to the mayor. So this is from one simple project. And now I'm thinking, I want this student to come. I'm willing to find scholarship for this student to come. So don't make up stories, because you make up stories from AI, I can guarantee somebody else also have the same story. And when we read the two stories, it says that, nah, we don't want either one of them. If it is your story, you tell it in such that they will remember that. That's what makes you stand out. Number 3, who do you want to be? What do you want to become? After you get a degree, you may know, you may not know. If you don't know, you don't know. It's okay, you don't know. But you can tell them the various interests of what you think a degree in economics from UCLA will be able to help you, not just you, how you want to affect policies, how you want to be able to create, they say you want to be a teacher. For next generation of students to better understand how the world works. It doesn't have to be this big. It can be this big, but it's significant to you, your family. I came from Taiwan. I was an English major. What I wrote is like, all I knew is I love language and I want to be a professor. And that's what I wrote. Why do I want to be a professor? We came from a family so poor. We sometimes didn't know we have dinner or not. So I wrote my story very precisely. I also know that higher education is the only pathway for people like me in Taiwan to be able to have the social and economic upward mobility. And in turn, because I've gone through that, I'm able to help the next generation of the students. That's what I wrote about.
Thank you so much for your extremely informative response and for your very engaging presentation. I hope our students get very valuable insights from today's session. And thank you for being able to join us. Dr. Jia-Yi Cheng-Levine, Dean of International Affairs and Global Engagement and College of the Kenyans in Santa Clarita, California, with us today. Thank you so much for making it. We definitely we're gonna use it for generations of bachelor and other students who are applying to the US. And thank you for every viewer who joined us today and asked question or just enjoyed the information presented. And of course, thanks to America House Kyiv for administrating and hosting today's session. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good evening for Ukraine and have a great day for the USA.
Thank you for being